Welcome to today in the Beer Jug Advent Calendar. Today I'm joined by Tom from b.effect. Hey, Tom.
Hello, how are you? Nice to be here.
I am excited about drinking the River Float. I've not yet tried it. Have you got a can with you?
I do have a can with me
Marvelous.
and a glass.
Very fun. Oh, nice glasses. Yeah, good merch.
Yeah,
Represent.
yeah, exactly right.
So, yeah, I've had a heck of a day. So, I've been looking forward to drinking this all day. So, thank you for joining us all the way from beautiful
Yeah.
Wanaka. Cheers.
Cheers, mate. Nice crisp pilsner.
Heck yeah. All right, well let's start at the beginning.
Yeah,
So obviously our people are enjoying the advent calendar in every corner of New Zealand. And there might be some people that haven't had a beer from b.effect before and don't know much
yeah,
about you guys. So if you could give us a brief potted history of the brewery.
yeah, yeah. I'd love to, mate. Well, b.effect is 10, nearly 11 years old. We've been out there producing and selling beers from this beautiful corner of the world since 11 in February. So we're double digits, which is something we're incredibly proud of. Um, and ultimately, in our mind, kind of, I don't know, somehow legitimizes the fact that you've earned a place in this difficult world that is craft beer. Been around long enough that must show people kind of like what we do. Um, we were founded by my business partner, a guy named James Hay, who moved to Wanaka, originally a Christchurch farmer, and like lots of craft beer guys, built his first brewery in his garage, made up of old soaring tables and hot water cylinders and all sorts of weird and wonderful things. And 11 years later, we've built a brewery and a bar slash tap room, restaurant, whatever you want to call it, here in Wanaka, and have been going from strength to strength, I suppose. Survived COVID and whatnot. Built the brewery in 2019, just in time for a global pandemic to ensure no one could come to it. But have popped out the other side, and things are really strong. So, I suppose what I like to talk about not so much is just the history, but the why b.effect exists, and
Yeah,
we've got a pretty strong purpose, which is about bringing people together and helping to build better communities. And so we kind of envisaged this brand as more than a company that makes and sells beer, but one that could actually, hopefully utilize beautiful beer to create community and help people come together and socialize. And in a world in particular where that's becoming more and more difficult, we're really proud and I suppose determined that that's kind of why we exist. Um,
awesome. That
yeah,
positivity and
yeah,
small
yeah.
things can
Well,
make big changes, hey?
yeah, and there you go. You took the words right out of my mouth. So, what does b.effect mean? Is the other question that we get asked all the time. There's a commonality out there that people think it means beer effect, which we're kind of okay with, but it's not actually what it means. It's short for the butterfly effect, which I'm going to put my nerd hat on for a second. I'll put my glasses on at the same time. Which ultimately comes from a chaos mathematic theory. A guy called Edouard Lorenz came up with the butterfly effect chaos theory, which basically means that small changes can cause great effects. And it comes from a diagram that looks like a butterfly, which ultimately is when you get one of those little pens and you start moving them around in circles, and all of a sudden those circles start to change slightly. You create that. So that's what the butterfly effect means, is that by making small changes, you can cause great effects. And that sort of ties back into what we do in the brewery and the products that we make. Yeah,
And
butterfly flaps its wings and that can cause great effects. So by doing little things differently, you can have a large impact, I suppose, on the world and the industry and all of those things. And we kind of stand pretty true to that.
it's good. I think a lot of the most interesting and impactful, well, breweries and businesses in general are ones that have a philosophy, a guiding principle behind them. And of course, all brewers want to make a lovely pilsner and want to make nice beers. But I feel like over, we've been going for 11 years as well at Beer Jack and seeing the breweries and brewing companies that have come and gone. It has been ones that have sort of, yeah, turned up and said, "Oh, we make a nice lager and a nice pale ale," and they haven't really had a anything that defines them or anything that's different. And in the last few days, we've spoken to some fantastic, fairly new and small breweries like
Yep.
Coromandel Supply Co. They've just been around for a year. So it's fantastic to talk to Tony about his story and about Ed's down at Alchemy Street. And yeah, like yourself, they've got very clear ideas about the beers they want to make and the world that they want to live in. So yeah, having it
Yeah.
hardwired into the name of the brewery from the outset is great.
Yeah, well, it forces us to stay true to it, I suppose. And, we're in a pretty challenging environment at the moment, in a challenging industry. And um, sometimes just making a good or a great product isn't enough, like to be successful. And there's been plenty of unfortunate stories of breweries who made great beers who are no longer with us, which is really sad. So, yeah, for
Seriously.
us, it's really important to be clear about why we exist and what it is we're trying to do.
Yeah. So what sort of beers are you most into personally?
Well, if you
Both
hadn't
drinking
picked,
and making.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, if you
Two different
hadn't picked up,
questions.
if you hadn't picked up my nasally Australian twang in my voice, I am Australian and I am partial to a lager. I have
Yeah.
to admit, Wanaka Lager is my favourite beer, and I have certainly over the last couple of years started to move away from hazy beers back to clearer, lighter, easy drinking styles.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I'm a big fan of lower ABV beers these days as I'm nearly 50 and, you know, um, things take longer to recover from. So for me, I'm a lager and a Pilsner drinker. That's where I spend most of my drinking time, despite the fact that we make kind of, most styles under the sun at some point in our life as a business. But yeah, I'm a lager guy.
And what are the like the flagships? What are the big sellers at b.effect?
So Wanaka Lager, I just mentioned it. That's our
Mm,
number one selling beer, and pretty not to be um, unexpected, I suppose. As we know that lagers are the biggest selling beers in the world, so why wouldn't it be? But then we've got, like most people, hazy and pilsners in our tap room. Wanaka Lager and our Pilsner are the two best-selling beers
yeah.
by quantity in terms of the number of pints sold. And then we also make another little sneaky non-alcoholic product called kombucha. So, and we
Yeah.
sell a lot of kombucha, which is really good fun as well.
Yeah. Awesome. Do you sell that in kegs as well as cans?
Yeah, yeah, we do.
Very cool.
Yep, so 330 ml cans as well as kegs, and yeah, we've got lots of on-premise pubs and bars around certainly the South Island. I don't think there's any in the North Island at the moment selling kombucha and tap, but it's a really great replacement for alcohol. So we make it as a replacement for alcohol. And you can you can buy it in a 6-pack and take it to a party and have a bunch of cans with your mates like you would with a beer if you were not in the mood to drink one.
Yeah, and it's delicious and full flavored and spritzy, and yeah,
Yeah,
you're not missing out.
no, and it kind of works in that same session plan, right? Like, so if you're drinking
Mm,
something else, um, the timing of drinking a kombucha and time of drinking a beer in terms of if you're in a round or whatever works quite well. And the other thing that we do is that we've got these sort of ranges within our portfolio. So a core range, which are always on beers. We've got a seasonal series, which this West Coast Pilsner River Float is part of. And then we've got our non-alcoholic range, and we've got a really great balance across all of those three different ranges. And this seasonal series that River Float West Coast Pilsner is part of is one of, currently there are 13 beers within that range that we rotate in and out and usually release a few brand new ones every year. So it's ever growing. And great for those people that are looking to explore and try something different.
yeah, it keeps you busy. There's I'm finding that brewers are releasing fewer seasonals at the moment, and it seems like the routes to market, which is pretty much the two grocery giants for many breweries, are stocking less SKUs on their shelves. Is that have you found that you're doing fewer seasonal releases in the past year or so than before?
Well, no, we're kind of like that's no doubt. There's a trend in that space, and we're bucking that trend at the moment.
Mm,
Our seasonal beers have been really, really successful over the last 6 to 12 months, um,
right.
which has been great because prior to that it was a real challenge. I think that having a clear strategy around what you're doing and why you're doing it, rather than just because us as brewers and breweries want to make a beer,
Yeah.
is probably the big change. Rather than
Yeah.
making stuff that we want to drink, it's really key to be making things that one, buyers are looking for and their customers are looking for. So trying to stay across the trends, what's working, and not being a year late because those trends don't hang around very long.
Yeah.
Um, so cold IPAs is a really great example that 18 months ago, 2 years ago, were the biggest things in the world, and you produce a cold IPA now and watch it sit on a shelf and no one wants to pick it up. Which
Mm.
is a good tangent into something like a West Coast Pilsner, um,
Yeah,
which,
I've really
you know,
enjoyed this the last couple of years, the trend, and it has been a bit of a counter and perhaps a backlash of sorts to the hazy beers, of there being lots of like really crisp, basically West Coast IPA adjacent styles. So, like you said, the cold
yep,
IPA, the hoppy lagers, the West Coast Pilsners.
yep,
There's a lot of beers that are all very similar, and we won't get into the semantics and the specifics of defining them all.
yeah,
But yeah, you said you're a Pilsner fan. This I've been loving drinking this. I'm having to
yeah,
go slowly just so I don't scull it all within 5 minutes. Um, this is everything you want in a pilsner. It's crisp, it's dry, it's got a clean finish, but a real whack of just beautiful aroma from the hops.
yeah,
And it's absolutely delicious. So yeah, what's the story behind the float?
yeah. River Float. Well, our seasonal series of beers are all designed to showcase the place that we're from. So I go back to, that purpose of bringing people together and, building better communities. Wanaka, as a place that we're lucky enough to call home, is one where people love to get out and amongst it and into the environment. And most of our labels that are, you can see a very pretty one on this can, showcase the kind of activities that people like to do in Wanaka. And, it's summer and a river float down the Clutha is part and parcel of living and enjoying the life in Wanaka. And so when we decided that we wanted to create a West Coast Pilsner, we were thinking about what's the perfect activity to do, uh, whilst enjoying a West Coast Pilsner. And we thought, well, sitting on a big blow up pink flamingo floating down the Clutha on a beautiful sunny day in summer in Wanaka with a nice cold can of West Coast Pilsner sounds pretty bang on right. So
Oh yeah.
the name River Float came from that, and it ties very much into that range. We've got, a whole series of beers that are focused. We've got a bright IPA as an example called Flying Start, which is about paragliding, and we've got skiing beers, and we've got mountain biking beers, and all sorts of hiking beers, and all of the activities that we like to do here become a theme, and we create a story around that. Why a West Coast Pilsner? You basically told the story yourself in asking me the question, in that, as people are starting to tend away from hazy a little bit, and wanting clear beers, but with flavour and story and, um, interesting aromas and flavour profiles, um, why not whack it on the back of a Pilsner, which, is crisp and dry and moreish, um, something that people want to drink more. And you can make a beer like this that's under 6%. We're 5.7%
Mm,
in this beer, with a real kick of flavour, but still finished dry and crisp and clean like a good Pilsner should. It all just seemed to make sense, I suppose. And to my earlier point, there's no doubt that West Coast Pilsners are pretty hot right now. This is the third batch of this beer that we've made over the last 2.5 years, and all of them sell out really quickly, and they seem to be liked. And yeah, so we thought, why not? And with this, we can create a really New Zealand style Pilsner. So it's all Kiwi hops, Nelson Sauvin and Motueka. So it's got that traditional crisp Kiwi Pilsner finish to it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love it. Absolutely best of both. Your Pilsner
Yeah,
IPA. And you're right, actually, the ABV, it does taste like it should be, more like 6.7.
yeah.
It's got everything. So yeah, really, really well put together beer, and I'm sure it's uh often the secret of beers like this is using a very heavy amount of hops. So was it a pretty big dry hop in this recipe?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No doubt that there's a lot of hops in it, which is great for the drinking, not so great for the profitability. But we'll move on from that.
Yeah,
But yeah, absolutely, it's very much. I mean, otherwise you're just making a pilsner, right? So
yeah.
the whole point of calling it a West Coast pilsner and trying to make this is a beer that we can showcase those hops, and ensure that people are getting, those aromas and those flavors and the dankness and all the things that, us hop lovers chase.
Heck yeah. So I haven't visited your tap room. So how long has the tap room been open for? Did you say was that 2019 when you moved into the
Yeah, so
current size?
2019,
Yeah,
we actually just had our sixth birthday party last weekend, for the
awesome.
opening of the tap room, um, which was good fun. Still recovering. But yeah, so 6 years, opened in 2019, just in time for the country to be locked down and be told that no one's allowed to come and see our awesome facility. But it's a great venue. It's called Be Social. So it's attached to the brewery. We're all on the same premise, but the tap room is called Be Social, which again sort of ties back to why we're here. Let's create a space for people to come and hang out, and it's very light and bright, and a little bit different to the sort of traditional craft beer tap room of 10, 15 years ago. Big, long shared tables, so people are forced to be social. You need to share a table and sit next to someone you want to. We've got a great restaurant in there that serves good food, and yeah, lots of interesting maps on our tables of, all the ski field ski maps are on the tables, and the mountain bike parks mountain biking maps are on the tables. There are other tables with, topographical maps on, so if you've been up in the mountains you can have a look and track where you've gone and tell stories and all of those sorts of things. And like most tap rooms, there's a few fermenters in there and all sorts of bits and pieces. But yeah, it's a place we're really proud of.
So good. And any plans on the horizon? Any what's the next stage for BFX that you're working on?
Well, it's probably another level of expansion, I suppose, is what comes next, should we earn the right to.
Yeah,
Um, so we've been growing steadily for the last 10 years, and the business is in pretty good shape. Um, but we're probably 12 to 18 months away from forecast expansion again, create some more room. And then there's a few bits and pieces from an equipment perspective we're working on. We're working through a process around CO2 recapture at the moment, which is pretty exciting for us. And solar. So our full brewery runs on renewable energy. So we're lucky enough in Wanaka that our electricity is all hydro generated. And our whole brewery runs on electricity. So we've got no gas or anything like that, which is really nice. And so we'll continue pushing down that path. And we've just really started in the last 6 months to put our foot across the channel and start selling into the North Island a little bit. So we've been really focused on the South Island intentionally,
yeah.
due to our lovely friend called distribution costs in this country.
Old
But we've
Tasman.
sort of we've earned that right a little bit now, and we've started to make some inroads into the North Island. So those North Islanders on this call, keep your eyes peeled in supermarkets and good venues. You'll start to see a little bit more b.effect product around in 2026.
Yeah, exciting. Hopefully
Yeah,
in beer jug boxes and yeah, pouring here at the Small Guys Tap Room as well.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know where to find me, mate. So more than happy to share our products with your loyal customers.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's been a while since I've had a holiday. So yeah, you talking about all the activities happening in Monica. I think I might need to try and shoehorn a visit to come down and see you guys pretty soon.
Yeah, to be fair, mate, I've been inviting you for a couple of years now. So you're more than welcome. I'd love to have you here, mate.
Heck yeah,
Yeah, come on down, whether it's summer,
awesome.
whether it's winter, there's a million things to do, and go and enjoy this beautiful part of the world and drink a few quality beers.
Yeah, so good. Well, please pass on your thanks to the whole team there for making a
Yeah.
fantastic beer. It's awesome. I'm sure that everybody watching is also going to be loving drinking this beer today. Uh, Thank you so much. Cheers.
Cheers, mate, and Merry Christmas to all those online. Good on you. Thank you.